You can prepare for a job interview by studying weeks in advance, but still, there is no guarantee that you won't be asked a question you have no idea how to answer. The trickiest and the most important questions are designed to help employers gain a deeper understanding of beyond what's listed on your resume. A potential sales candidate, for example, might be asked to talk through how they would approach short sales cycle differently than a long sales cycle. A candidate interviewing for a managerial role might be asked how they'd handle customer objections or a team conflict. These questions aren't always easy and they often cause most people to stress and freeze up. Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting video from Simplilearn. Before we begin the session, make sure that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel and don't forget to click that bell icon so you can never miss an update from Simplilearn. So without further ado, let's get started with the first question of this session. And we have, why do you choose Google? Answer: when a question is asked in the interview like this, come up with a unique answer like this. Impressive record and impressive history of the company. Some of the best products that are released by Google and used by everyone in the world and helping everyone in several areas. Clearly committed to building a diverse workforce, which is good to choose Google. And the second question in the list is, do you think Google should be charging for its productivity apps? The best answer for this question is, if Google charges for its productivity applications like Gmail or many more, no one is going to choose. So, instead of that, making a freemium model with enhanced functionalities can help better for the people and make them choose Google. And the next question in the list is, which number does not belong to this series? 2, 3, 5, 8, 11, 13, 21. The answer for this question is, if you observe the series clearly, it is based on adding the adjacent number in the series. So the number which is not related in the series is 11. Let's have a look at the next question in the series. And we have, what does the significance of dead beef mean? Usually, people respond to this question with an answer like, beef always is dead. Wrong answer. The correct answer is that dead beef is a hexadecimal value that was used in debugging back in the mainframe or assembly days. As such, it was easy to see when marking and finding specific memory in pages of hex dumps. Most computer engineers are aware of this term. The next question we have is your IQ more than 130? Avoid this question by answering yes. The question is put to check intellectual humility, and yes could be the worst answer to this. Remembering your IQ score sends a wrong message of your insecurity and self-aggrandizement. Let's have a look at the next question in the list. There are months with 30 days and others with 31 days. Then how many months do we have? 28 days. Don't try to give the answer as February as your answer, because all months have 28 days and more. Now, let's have a look at the next question in the session. How many times would you need to fold the 1mm piece of paper in half for it to be high enough to reach the moon? Try to give an answer like, folding a 1mm thick piece of paper in half 42 times will make the paper 4,398,046 kilometers height, which is more than the distance from the Earth to the moon. And the next question in the session we have is, why do manholes are round in shape? The answer for this question is, it would make it harder to fit with a cover. You'd have to rotate the cover exactly the right way. Therefore, many manhole covers are round so they don't need to be rotated. There are no corners to deal with. Also, a round manhole cover won't fall into the hole because it was rotated in the wrong way. So, it's safer when they are rounded. Now, let's have a look at the next question in the session. Why do you think that the Google search page is so mainly blank? The answer for this question is, when Google was invented, the founders did not know much on web designing and development, so they left much of the pages empty with only bare bones designing and they left as blank. And the next question of the session is, how much should you charge to wash all the windows in New York? Give a definitive answer like $15 per window. A specific answer is better instead of a guess. Next question in the list is, explain what is database to a 10-year-old kid. For these kind of questions, giving an answer like database is a machine that stores all the information that people used to remember and identify. And the next question in the session is, tell something about you which is not included in your resume. For this kind of question, answer the question like, mention something you have achieved in your current job role that's recent and not included in your resume, or talk about a volunteering experience that you can relate to the position, or stress a strength or skill that's essential to the current position. The next question in the list is, who do you believe as Google's main competitors? Answer this question with answer like, Google has several competitors like Microsoft, Facebook, Netflix, and several others depending on the specific space. One of the main difference is Google's ability to integrate its services, creating a cross-platform experience. Now, let's have a look at another question in the list. How do you explain programming and programming languages to a 10-year-old kid? The answer is, if a question is asked like this, give an answer like programming allows us to teach computers to do specific things. A programming language is like a language that is understandable by computers, so that makes a good impression. The next question is, if the day before yesterday is 3 days after Friday, what day is today? So the answer for this question is, 3 days after Friday is Monday. So the day before yesterday is Monday. So the day before yesterday was Tuesday and yesterday was Wednesday. So today is Thursday. The next question in the session is, how 5 minus 2 equals 4? Explain. The answer for the above question is, if you observe the question, it is clearly mentioned that 5 minus 2 is equals to 4. So when you remove F and E from the word 5, then it becomes IV, or in Roman, it is 4, represented as 4. The next question we have is, which of the following sets doesn't belong to the series A, B, C, D, A, E, B, G, Z, I, A, B, J, K, L, M? The answer for the above question is, J, K, L, M doesn't belong to the series. The 3 remaining sets are a part of series because all of them have A, B subset in common. And the next question in the series is, what is the biggest threat that Google faces? The answer for the above question is that Facebook is the biggest threat facing Google these days because it has over 1 billion active users every month. The next question in the series is, how many times does a clock hand overlap per day? So the answer for this question is, clock hand overlaps 22 times per day. Now the next question in the series, describe time where you have failed at something. How do you recover? So the answer for this question is, while I was managing a project for one of the biggest clients in my previous company, I was so eager to please them that I told them we would finish the project within 3 weeks. So I took this experience and used it to become much better at managing the expectations of client during project. Firstly, we are going to see the beginner level Amazon interview questions. Now, let's have a look at the interview questions. First question, why do you want to join Amazon? The answer for this question is, the growth of the company is increasing rapidly every day, and Amazon has disrupted every industry. It has set its foot in every sector in the world. It is really about putting yourself in the shoes of the consumer to win their trust and confidence towards the company and the skills and a personality. It also helps to excel at immersing myself in new industries and applying that knowledge to deliver above average results. Now, second question, what are checked exceptions? The answer for this question is, a checked exception is an exception that occurs at compile time. These are also called as compile time exceptions. These exceptions cannot simply be ignored at the time of compilation. The programmer should take care or handle these exceptions. For example, if a file is to be opened but the file was not found, an exception occurs. These exceptions cannot simply be ignored at the time of compilation. Question number 3. What is hashing? The answer for this question is, hashing is a technique used to convert a range of key values into a range of indexes of an array. By using the hash tables, here we can create an associative data storage where the data index can be found by providing its key values. Now, question number 4. What is linear data structure? The answer for this question is, a linear data structure has elements arranged in sequential manner and each member element is connected to its previous and next element. Such data structures are easy to implement as computer memory is also sequential. The examples of linear data structure are lists, queue, stack, array, etc. What does algorithm mean? The answer for this question is, an algorithm is a finite sequence of well-defined instructions, typically used to solve a class of specific problems or to perform a computation. Algorithms are used as specifications for performing calculations, data processing, automated reasoning, automated decision-making, and other tasks. In contrast, a heuristic is an approach to problem solving that may not be fully specified or may not guarantee the correct or optimal results, especially in problem domains where there is no well-defined correct or optimal result. The next question is, what is a search operation? The answer for this question is, search operation means whenever an element is to be searched, start searching from the root node. Then, if the data is less than the key value, search the element in the left subtree. Or in simple terms, we can say that searching for the element in the right subtree. The next question is, what is the purpose of is operator in Python? The answer for this question is, the is key is used to test if two variables refer to the same object. The test returns true if the two objects are same objects, and the test returns false if they are not same object. Even if the two objects are 100% equal, use the double equals to operator to test if two variables are equal. A is B. Here, the results in 1 of the ID A equals to ID B. Now, question 8. What is a data structure? The answer for this question is, data structure is a data organization management and storage format that enables efficient access and modification. More precisely, a data structure is a collection of data values, the relationships among them, and the functions or operations that can be applied to the data. Next question. What is the difference between tuples and lists in Python? The answer for this question is, the main differences between the lists and tuples are, lists are enclosed with sequence brackets and their elements and size can be changed, whereas tuples are enclosed in round or parentheses and cannot be updated. Tuples can be of as read-only lists. Now the next question, what is the Tower of Hanoi? The answer for this question is, Tower of Hanoi is a mathematical puzzle that consists of 3 tower pegs and more than one ring. All the rings are of different sizes and stacked upon one another, where the large disk is always below the small disk. The main aim is to move the tower of disk from one peg to another without breaking its properties. Now the next question, what are Collections API? The answer for this question is, Collections API is a set of classes and interfaces that support operations on collection of objects. The primary advantages of collection framework are, it provides interoperability between unrelated APIs. Now we have the 12th question. Describe a time where you have failed at something. How did you recover? The answer for this question is, when I was managing a project for one of the biggest clients in my previous company, I was so eager to please them that I told them we could finish the project within 3 weeks. So I took this experience and used it to become much better at managing the expectations of the clients during the project. Now, question number 13. Tell something about you which is not included in your resume. The answer for this question is, mention something you have achieved at your current job that is so recent and not included in your resume. Talk about a volunteering experience that you can relate to the position. Stress a strength or skill that's essential to the current position. Question number 14. What is BFS? The answer for this question is BFS, or Breadth First Search, is an algorithm for searching a tree data structure for a node which satisfies the given property. It starts at the tree root and explores all nodes of the tree at the present depth prior to moving to the nodes at the next depth level. The extra memory, usually a queue, should be needed to keep track of the child nodes that were encountered but not explored. Now the next question. Why should we hire you? The answer for this question is, as a fresher, I'm looking for an opportunity to prove my ability. If I will be the part of this company, I'll put my efforts and strengths to make your company reach great achievements, and if you hire me, I will get an opportunity to build my professional experience through your company. Now, let us understand a few intermediate level of Amazon interview questions. Question number 16. What is heap in data structure? Heap is a self-balanced binary tree data structure where the root node key is compared with the child and they are arranged accordingly. A minimum heap is a parent node has key value less than its child, and max heap parents has greater value than its child. Now we have question number 17. What does success mean to you? The answer for this question is, in my point of view, I will define success as fulfilling my role in my team and the company. I trust that my employer has placed me in a position where I'm capable of achieving the goals of the company and my team, and so I work towards completing my individual duties as effectively as possible. Next we have question number 18. What does Prim's algorithm find spanning trees? The answer for this question is, the Prim's algorithm treats the nodes as a single tree and keeps on adding new nodes to the spanning tree from the given graph. We have question number 19. What is synchronization? The answer for this question is, synchronization is the capability to control the access of multiple threads to the shared resources. Synchronized keyword in Java provides looking that ensures mutual exclusive access of shared resources and prevents data race. Now we have question number 20. List a few advantages of packages in Java. The answer for this question is, packages in Java avoid the name clashes. Packages in Java also provide easier access control. It is easier to locate the related classes using packages in Java. Next we have, what is tree traversal? The traversal is a process of visiting all the nodes of a tree. All the nodes are connected via edges. We always start from the root node. There are three ways which we use to traverse a tree, which is in-order traversal, pre-order traversal, and post-order traversal. Now we have question number 22. Why do you decide to go to IT? The answer for this question is, while technical skills can get you far, there's a lot in IT work that can be learned on the job. Because of this, employers might look for someone who has other qualities that can be linked to success, like passion and curiosity. This question can get also better for employers to get to know you and your story. Now we have question number 23. What are your salary expectations? The answer for this question is, rather than offering a set number of the salary you expect, provide the employer with a range in which you'd like your salary to fall. Try to keep your range tight rather than very wide. For example, if you want to make $80,000 a year, a good range offer you would make is $75,000 to $90,000. Now we have question number 24. What does success mean to you? The answer for this question is, in my point of view, I define success as fulfilling my role in my team and the company I trust. Now we have question number 25. What is database? The answer for this question is, a database is a collection of data stored and accessed by the computer system, which can be designed by formal design and modeling techniques. Now we have question number 26. Describe yourself in 5 words. The answer for this question is creative, diligent, honest, friendly, and loyal. Now we have question number 27. How does Kruskal's algorithm work? The answer for this question is, the working of Kruskal's algorithm treats the graph as a forest and every node as an individual tree. A tree that connects to another only and only if it has least cost among all available options and does not violate MST properties. Now we have question number 28. How does depth-first traversal work? The answer for this question is, depth-first search algorithm traverses a graph in a depthward motion and uses a stack to remember to get the next vertex to start a search when a dead end occurs in any iteration. Next we have 29th question. What was the biggest mistake of your life? The answer for this question is, for these kinds of questions, one of the best ways to answer this question is to talk about specific example of a time you made a mistake. Explain what the mistake was and don't elaborate much about it. Quickly switch over what you learned or how you improved after making that mistake. At number 30, we have what is shell sort. The answer for this question is, shell sort can be explained as a variant of insertion sort. It divides the list into smaller sublists based on some gap variable, and then each sublist is sorted using insertion sort. In some cases, it can also perform up to 0 n log n. Now question number 31. Mention some examples of greedy algorithms. The answer for this question is, examples of greedy algorithms are Driscoll's minimal spanning tree algorithm, traveling salesperson, knapsack problem, Prim's minimal spanning tree algorithm, job scheduling problem, Dijkstra's minimal spanning tree algorithm, graph map coloring, graph vertex cover. Next on number 32, we have what is recursive function. The answer for this question is, a recursive function is a function which calls itself directly or calls a function that in turn calls it. Every recursive function follows the recursive properties based on criteria, where a function stops calling itself and progressive approach where the function tries to meet the base criteria in each iteration. Now number 33. List the types of data structures. The answer for this question is, data structures can be divided into two categories. Those are linear data structure and non-linear data structures. Now we have question number 34. What are your strengths? The answer for this question is, give an answer like creativity, discipline, patience, determination, dedication, and honesty. Now we have question number 35. What are the situations that make you angry? The answer for this question is, for these kind of questions, briefly mention the situation that agitated you and then move on to the solution. The problem-solving attitude or bent of mind is appreciated by every interviewer. Do not over-exaggerate about you being a calm and professional person. Now we have question number 36. State the properties of B-tree. The answer for this question is, the properties of B-tree are, every node in a B-tree contains at most m children. Every node in a B-tree except the root node and the leaf node contain at least a m by 2 children. The root nodes in the B-tree must have at least 2 nodes. Now we have question number 37. Money or work? The answer for this question is, in my point of view, work is more important to me. Once we achieve and overperform the target and help to increase the growth of the company, then definitely money will follow us. Now let's understand the advanced level of Amazon interview questions. At question number 38, we have mentioned some examples of dynamic programming algorithms. The answer for this question is, knapsack problem, shortest path by Dijkstra's, Tower of Hanoi, project scheduling, Floyd-Warshall algorithm, Fibonacci number series, etc. Now we have question number 39. What is queue in a data structure? The answer for this question is, queue in data structure is an abstract data structure. In contrast to stack, the queue is open at both the ends. One end is always used to insert data, it is called as enqueue, and the other is used to remove data, which is called dequeue. Queue follows FIFO methodology, and the data item stored first will be accessed first. Next we have question number 40. Mention the use of default constructor in Java. The answer for this question is, the purpose of default constructor in Java is to assign the default value to the objects. Java compiler creates a default constructor implicitly if there is no constructor present in the class. Now at question number 41, we have what is a postfix expression? The answer for this question is an expression in which the operators follow the operands is known as postfix expression. The benefit of this form is that there is no need to group sub-expressions in parentheses or to consider operator precedence. The expression a plus b will be represented as ab plus in postfix notation. Now we have question number 42. What is selection sort? The answer for this question is selection sort is in place sorting technique. It divides the dataset into two subsets known as sorted and unsorted. Then it selects the minimum element from the unsorted sublist and places it into the sorted list. This iterates unless all the elements from the unsorted sublist are consumed into the sorted sublist. Now at question number 43 we have write a code of inserting a node. The answer for this question is available on my screen. Please feel free to take a screenshot for future reference. Now let's move ahead into question number 44. What is merge sort and how does it work? The answer for this question is merge sort is a sorting algorithm based on divide and conquer programming approach. Merge sort keeps on dividing the list into smaller sublists until all sublists have one element, and then it merges them in a sorted way until all sublists are consumed. It has runtime complexity of 0 n log n and it needs 0 of n auxiliary space. Now we have question number 45. Tell me about a time you were unable to finish a project and had to pivot quickly. How did you handle it? The answer for this question is, at my last job, I was leading a project that was near completion. Everything was moving smoothly and on target for timely completion. Then, one of our partners providing one of the software upgrades that were to occur at the 90% mark encountered a breach of their systems and was estimated to delay the project by 2 or 4 weeks. Instead, we were able to allocate 2 resources to support the provider in recovering from the breach in less than half of the time that was projected. Now we have question number 46. Why did you leave your last job? The answer for this question is, one of the best ways to answer these kind of questions is to be honest. Don't forget to add your learnings from the situation and how you worked on the problem areas. Take care not to speak ill of your former employer, colleagues or the job. Your attempt should make the answer positive as you can. So it will be really helpful to make a good impression on you. Next we have question number 47. Count possible paths in a M cross N matrix from top left bottom to right. The code is really simple for this question. It will be displayed on my screen. You can feel free to take a screenshot for a future reference. Now we have question number 48. Write a function to give the sum of all the numbers in the list. The answer for this question is available on my screen. The simple program segment, which is a solution of this problem, is available on my screen. Now, let's move ahead to the question number 49. How to split string in Java. To split a string in Java, the code is really simple. All you have to do is use the function string split, which is available on my screen. Please take a screenshot. Now finally, we have another last question based on coding, which is write a code to find the factorial. The answer for this question is available on my screen. You have to use a simple for loop and the logic for calculating the factorial numbers.
If getting your learning started is half the battle, what if you could do that for free? Visit SkillUp by Simplilearn. Click on the link in the description to know more.
Data consultancy services is a good platform to begin your professional career as a new employee. It provides a great workplace for the freshers and good ambience conducive to individuals. It holds a mass recruiting procedure every year to find the employees for the positions. The process has 4 rounds. They are TCS NQT, technical round, managerial round, and HR round. First round, TCS NQT. The first round of TCS recruitment process is TCS NQT. which is considered as one of the most difficult stages of the procedure. It is an ability test that evaluates a candidate's ability and skills. TCS NQT exams are offered both online and in person at TCS ION authorized exam centers. The test has 5 sections, namely numerical ability, verbal, reasoning ability, programming logic, and coding. Next up, second round, which is a technical round. This is the most challenging stage of the hiring process, so do your best to prepare for it. The focus of the entire interview process will be on your technical knowledge, biography, and primary projects. The technical round of the TCS interview, which is a face-to-face, consists of questions designed to assess the candidate's knowledge of data structures and algorithm, database management, operating systems, networking, OOPS concepts, and a programming language of your choice. There is a considerable chance you will be asked to write some code on pen and paper. Third round, managerial round. The managerial round is handled by a panel of senior members. This is also a face-to-face interview round. This round may consist entirely on your technical questions and combination of technical and managerial questions. The majority of the questions are based on the profile for which you are being interviewed. You should be up to date on any new technologies or software required for that position. You may also be asked questions based on your actions to assess your thinking style. You could be put under pressure to see how you react. Your CV's achievements may be questioned and you may have to defend them. You may be questioned on your previous working experience, about your objective, motivation for joining TCS, and other similar topics. The fourth and the final round, HR round. This is the last stage of the hiring process. Candidates are expected to be adaptable, yet this phase allows for negotiation. Most candidates believe that the HR interview is simple, but keep in mind that a poor HR interview can jeopardize your chances of receiving the job. Even if you have cleared all the other hurdles, aptitude test, technical round, etc., the goal is to maintain a pleasant and confident demeanor. Interviews can be long and tedious, so remember to smile. Now, let's have a look at interview questions. First up, who is eligible for TCS NQT? The answer for this question is any student with any degree are allowed for the TCS NQT. Freshers and people with less than 2 years of work-related experience can also apply for this test. Final year and pre-final undergraduates and diploma students are eligible for this application. Next up to the next question. What is BFS? And the answer for this question is breadth first search is an algorithm for searching a tree data structure for a node which satisfies the given property. It starts at the tree's root and explores all the nodes of the trees at the present depth prior to moving on to the nodes at the next depth level. The extra memory should be needed to keep track of the child nodes that were encountered but not explored. And the next question on the list is what is JDK? The answer for this question would be the Java Development Kit is a distribution of Java technology by Oracle Corporation. It implements the Java language specifications and Java virtual machine specifications that provides the standard edition of the Java application programming interface. Next up is how to split strings in Java. The answer for this question is this program. In the first line, we are defining a string str which is Simplilearn with an extra e. In the next line, we are creating another string arr of str, which will then use the split function to split the string in two parts at the position e. In the next line, we are using a for loop to print out both the strings. Now, let's move on to next question. Next question is to explain the swapping of two numbers without using the third variable. We can use this code to represent that. In the first line, we are defining a is equals to 2 and b is equals to 4. Then we will write a code to swap the values of a and b. First, we will add a and b and store it in a. That means now our value of a is 6 and b is equals to 4. In the next line, we will change the value of b and subtract the value of b from a and store it in b. So now the a is equals to 6 and b is equals to 2. Now we will change the value of a by subtracting b from it. So now a will be equals to 4 and b will be equals to 2. Hence we have swapped the value of a and b. Now next up, question number 6. This is a question to write a program to check palindrome. We can use the below code to check if the given number is palindrome or not. First, we will declare some variables like n, number, reversed equals to 0 and remainder. We will first take value for n, which will be the number we have to find if it's palindrome or not. Then we will store the value of n in variable number. Now we will write a while loop which will run until n becomes 0. Now we will store the last digit of the n in the remainder. We can do that by using n modulus 10. Then in the next line we are multiplying reversed by 10, where since reversed was 0, so it will become again 0 and add remainder to it. So now the reverse store the last digit of the number. Now we will divide the original number n by 10. So the last digit will be removed from the original n number. We will repeat this process until the number n is reversed. Now we will check if the variable number and the variable reversed are equal or not. If they are equal, then yes, it is a palindrome. And if not, that it is not a palindrome. Let's move on to next question. What is recursion? The answer for the question is recursion is a method of solving a problem where the solution depends on solutions to smaller instances of the same problem. Such problems can be generally be solved by iteration, but this needs to identify and index the smaller instances of programming time. Recursion solves recursive problems by using functions that call themselves from within their own code. Next question. What is database? The answer for the question is the database management system is the software that interacts with end users, applications, and database itself to capture and analyze the data. The DBMS software additionally encompasses the core facilities provided to administer the database. The sum total of the database, the DBMS, and the associate applications can be referred to as a database system. Often the term database is also used loosely to refer to any of the DBMS, the database systems, and an application associated with the database. Next up, what is JVM? A Java virtual machine is a virtual machine that enables a computer to run Java programs as well as programs written in other languages that are also compiled to Java bytecode. The JVM is detailed by specification that formally describes what is required in a JVM. Having a specification ensures interoperability of Java programs across different implementations so that program authors using the JDK need not worry about idiosyncrasies of the underlying hardware platforms. The next question on the list is explain the use of join function in Python. The join function is used to define a string method which basically returns a string value. It is concatenated with the elements of an iterable and provided a flexible way to concatenate a string. These are the uses of join function. Next up, we have to explain the use of break statement. Break statement is typically used to terminate the execution of the current loop and also transfer control to outside of the current statement. Next up, what is tuple? A tuple is a built-in data collection type of Python. It allows storing values in a sequence manner. It uses open brackets rather than close brackets to create a tuple. It is not possible to remove any elements but can be found in the tuple. Next up, we have to mention different types of operators in Python. First up, arithmetic operators, relational operators, assignment operators, logical operators, membership operators, identity operators, and bitwise operators. These are the few operators in Python. Next up, what is the use of DCL language? DCL or data control language allows access and permission management to the database. It is also the subset of the database that decide what part of the database should be accessed by which user. DCL mainly includes two commands, grant and revoke. Next up, which is more important, money or work? In my point of view, the work is more important to me. Once we achieve and overperform the target and help to increase the growth of the company, then definitely money will follow us. And this is how we should answer this question. Next up, why should we hire you? The answer for the question should be, as a fresher, I'm looking for an opportunity to prove my ability. If I'll be the part of this company, I will put all my efforts and strengths to make this company reach great achievements. And if you hire me, I will get an opportunity to build my professional experience through your company. And this kind of answer will make a good impression on the interviewer. Next question, what is DBMS? The answer for this question is DBMS stands for Database Management System. It is a software program that works as an interface between database and end user. DBMS provides the power to manage the data, the database engine, and the database schema to facilitate the organization and manipulation of data using a simple query. And the next question in the list is, list some features of JavaScript. And the answer should be interpreted programming language. It is lightweight, complementary to Java. It is an open source. It is cross-platform and complementary to HTML. The next question in the list is, we have to mention the use of help function and dir function in Python. Help function. The help function is used to display the documentation string and facilitate to see the help related to module, keywords, and attributes. The dir function is used to display the defined symbols. And this is how we use these two functions in Python. The next question is, what is meant by DOM? DOM is basically stands for Document Object Model. It represents the HTML document and can be used to access and change the content of HTML. Next up, we have to list few advantages of packages in Java. The answer for the question should be, packages in Java avoids the name clashes. Packages in Java also provides easier access control. It is easier to locate the related classes using packages in Java. And these are the few advantages of packages in Java. The next question on the list is, we have to list the few advantages of DBMS. There are few advantages of DBMS, like it provides multiple user interfaces, redundancy control, ensure data consistency, restriction for unauthorized access, easy accessibility, provide backup and recovery, enforces integrity constraints. Next up, we have to mention OOPS concepts in C++. There are various OOPS concepts in C++, like class, object, data binding, inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction, and polymorphism. Next up, what is a clustered index in SQL? A clustered index is a table where the data for the row are stored. It also determines the order of the table data based on the key values that are stored in only one direction. And the next question on the list is, what is the purpose of a default constructor in Java? The purpose of the default constructor in Java is to assign the default value to this object. Java compiler creates a default constructor implicitly if there is no constructor present in class. Next up, is it possible to overload the constructor? The answer for the question is the constructors can be overloaded by changing the data type of the parameters or by changing the number of arguments accepted by the constructor. What is the static variable? Static variable is used to refer to the property of all objects like the name of employees, name of students, etc. Static variables gets memory allocated only once. And the next question is it possible to execute a program without the main function? The answer is no, it is not possible ever since JDK 1.7 came out. But before JDK 1.7, using the static block, it was possible to execute without the main method. Next question. What are the functions in Python? A function is a block of code that is executed only when the function is called. To define a function in Python, the def keyword is used. Next up, why do lambda forms in Python do not have the statements? Lambda forms in Python do not have the statement because it is used to make the new function object and return them in the runtime. Next up, what is inheritance? Inheritance is a mechanism of basing an object or class upon another object or class retaining a similar implementation, also defined as deriving new classes, which is subclasses, from existing ones, such as superclass or base class, and then forming them into an hierarchy of classes. In most class-based object-oriented languages, an object created through inheritance, child object acquires all the properties of the behaviors of the parent objects, and the exception of constructor and destructor, overloaded operators, and friend functions of the base class. The next question on the list is, what are the different data types present in JavaScript? There are only two types of data types present in JavaScript, primitive data types and non-primitive data types. Next up, we have to list the types of data structure. Data structures are divided into two types. They are either linear or non-linear data structures. Next up, which data structure is used to perform recursion? Usually, stack data structure is used to perform recursion due to its last in first out nature. And the next question in the list is, we have to mention operations that can be performed on stack. The operations performed on stack are push, pop, and peek. These are the three operations performed on a stack. Next question in the list is, what is the queue in data structure? A queue is an ordered list that enables insert operations to be performed at one end called rear and delete operations to be performed at another end called front. The next question in the list is, we have to define polymorphism. Polymorphism is a provision of a single interface of entities of different types, or the use of single symbol to represent multiple different types. This concept is borrowed from a principle in biology where an organism or species can have many different forms or stages. Next up, what is the output of this example? Here we are given an array A and we have to find the element at index 4. In the above question, indexing starts from 0 and the element present at the fourth index is 9, so the output would be 9. Next up, what is the SQL query to display the current date? There is a built-in function in SQL to display the current timestamp, which is called getDate. Next up, why did you leave your last job? Now this question can be answered like this. It is a career move for me. I have learned a lot from my last job, and now I'm looking for new challenges to gain a new skill set. And the next question in the list is, we have to list the types of trees. The answer to the question would be binary tree, binary search tree, a general tree, forest, expression tree, and tournament tree. Next up, how would you rate yourself on the scale of 1 to 5? The answer for this question should be like this. I would rate myself above 4 out of 5 because I would never like to think that there should be a room left for putting in more effort. And the next question would be, what are the uses of super keyword? The answer is, it is used to invoke the immediate parent class method. It is also used to refer the immediate parent class instance variable. It can also be used to invoke immediate parent class constructor. Next question is, what is a constraint? A constraint is used to specify the rule or regulation that allows and restricts what value or data will be stored in the table. It also ensures data accuracy and integrity inside the table. The next question in the list is, what is the structure? A structure is a user-defined data type that allows storing multiple types of data into a single unit. The next question in the list is, we have to mention some SQL commands. And the answer to the question is single line comments and multi-line comments. Next up, what do you mean by method overloading? Method overloading is a technique of polymorphism that allows to create multiple methods with the same name but the different signature. Next up, what are the different types of indices available in SQL? The different types of indices available in SQL are clustered index, non-clustered index, unique index, composure index, bitmap index, normal index, B-tree index, and the function-based index. The next question in the list is, explain about docstring in Python. Docstring is a string literal that occurs as the first statement in function, class, module, or method definition. It also provides a better way to associate the documentation. And the last question in the list is it possible to override the private method? And the answer to the question should be, it is not possible to override the private methods because the scope of the private method is limited to the class and it is not possible to access them outside of the class.
Why Wipro? If a question asked like this, come up with an answer like Wipro is India's top IT company. It provides a fantastic environment to work for. Here, your qualities will be valued. The organization has worked in a range of fields and countries. Once you're inside, you'll have a variety of options based on your professional skills. Wipro also provides a good team to work with, and work-life balance is excellent at Wipro. Next question. Mention the differences between string buffer and string builder in Java. The string builder was developed as a drop-in replacement for the string buffer. So it is not synchronized. It is not thread safe. So that you can only use it when the string buffer is used by string thread, and it is faster in most cases. String buffer was developed before the string builder. String buffer is synchronized so that the programs that use it take more memory and use the time to run the programs. Now, the third question. Why do you want to work at Wipro? The answer for this question will be, I want to work at Wipro for a great record of innovation and success. Whenever I think of how much the technology has changed since the 1940s, I know Wipro would not have been able to thrive unless it embraced change. I'm impressed with Wipro, which has been in business since 1940. Now, the fourth question. State the functionalities of an operating system. The answer for this question is, the functionalities of an operating system are, an operating system provides a user interface, graphical user interface, and command line. An operating system also includes a functionality for booting the computer. It also performs some operations for managing and peripheral devices. Now the fifth question. What do you understand about Java Virtual Machine? The answer for this question is, JVM is a virtual machine that enables the computer to run the programs. JVM acts like a runtime engine that calls the main method present in the Java code. JVM is the specification that must be implemented in the computer system. Now we have the sixth question. List a few features of JavaScript. The few features of JavaScript are: it is open source, lightweight, interpreted programming language, complementary to Java, complementary to HTML, and cross-platform. Now the next question. What is the use of window objects? The answer for this question is, the window object is not an object of JavaScript. It is a browser object created automatically by the browser that represents a window of browser. The window object is used to display the pop-up dialog box. Now we have the eighth question. What is C#? C# is a simple and general-purpose programming language which is developed by Microsoft. It is a safe and managed language that is compiled by .NET Framework to generate Microsoft Intermediate Language. The ninth question in the list is, why do you want to work at Wipro? The answer for this question is, I want to work at Wipro for the great record of innovation and success. I know Wipro would not have been able to thrive unless it has embraced the change. I'm impressed with Wipro that it has been in business since 1940. Now the next question. What is the difference between public, static, and void? The difference between public, static, and void are: you can access public declared variables anywhere. Static declared variables are globally accessible without creating an instance of the class. Void is a type modifier that specifies the method that does not return any value. Next question. What is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is used to maintain the relational database and perform many different data manipulation operations on the data. Next question. What is a class? The class is a user-defined data type that contains the data members and member functions whose access is defined by the three modifiers: public, private, and protected. Now we have the next question. What is polymorphism? Polymorphism means having more than one function with the same name but with different functionalities. Polymorphism is divided into two categories: static polymorphism and dynamic polymorphism. What is abstraction? Abstraction is a technique of showing essential details without representing the implementation. If the members are defined with a keyword public, then the members are accessible outside also. If the members are defined with a keyword private, then the members are not accessible by the outside methods. What is data binding? Data binding is a process of binding the application's user interface and business logic. If any change is made in the business logic, that will be reflected directly in the application UI. What is an object? Object is an instance of a class so that you can create an object from a class. The objects of a class are declared with the same sort of declaration that we declare variables of basic types. Next we have what is a destructor. A destructor is used to delete any extra resources allocated by the object. A destructor function is called automatically once the object goes out of the scope. Next question. What are checkpoints in DBMS? A checkpoint is a type of mechanism where all the previous logs are removed from the system and are permanently stored in the storage disk. These are checkpoints in DBMS. Now we have the 19th question. What is normalization? Normalization is a process of analyzing the given relationship schema according to their functional dependencies. It is also used to minimize the redundancy and also to minimize insertion, deletion, and update distractions. Now we have the 20th question. What is a stack? Stack is an ordered list in which insertion and deletion can be performed only at one end, that called the top. It is a recursive data structure having a pointer to its top element. Sometimes, stack is also called last in first out or LIFO list. The element which is inserted first in the stack will be deleted last from the stack. Now we have the 21st question. What do you mean by static variable? The static variable is used to refer to the common property of all the objects like name of the company, college name, students, etc. Static variable gets memory only once in the class area at the time of class loading. Next we have what is inheritance. Inheritance is a mechanism in which one object acquires all the properties and behavior of another object of another class. It is used for code reusability and method overriding. The idea behind the inheritance in Java is that you can create a new class that are built on top of existing classes. What is method overloading? Method overloading is a polymorphism technique that allows us to create multiple methods with the same name but different parameters. Is it possible to override the private method? No, it is not possible to override the private method because the scope of private method is limited to the class and we cannot access them outside the class. What is the use of DCL language? DCL allows users to control access and permission management to the database. It is a subset of database which decides that what part of the database should be accessed by which user at what point of time. It includes the common commands like grant and revoke. What is a primary key? A primary key is a field or the combination of fields that uniquely identify each record in the table. It is one of the special kind of unique key. If the column contains a primary key, it cannot be null or empty. The table can have duplicate columns, but it cannot have more than one primary key. Now the next question. What is an inconsistent dependency? An inconsistent dependency refers to the difficulty of getting relevant data due to the missing or broken path in the data. Now we have our next question. What is tree data structure? Tree data structure is a recursive data structure containing a set of one or more data nodes where one node is designated as the root node of the tree while the remaining nodes are called as the child nodes. Now, what does success mean to you? In my point of view, I define success as fulfilling my role in my team and the company. I trust that my employer has placed me in a position where I'm capable of achieving the goals of company and my team. So, I work towards completing my individual duties as effectively as possible. Now the next question, what is tree traversal? Tree traversal is a process of visiting all the nodes of a tree. All nodes are connected via edges, links. We always start from the root node, head node. There are three types of tree traversal, which are in-order traversal, pre-order traversal, and post-order traversal. Now the 31st question. How does depth-first traversal work? The answer for this question is, depth-first search algorithm traverses a graph in a depthward motion and uses a stack to remember to get the next vertex to start search when a dead end occurs in any iteration. Now the 32nd question. What is a selection sort? Selection sort is in-place sorting technique. It divides the data set into two sublists known as sorted and unsorted. Then it selects the minimum element from the unsorted sublist and places it into sorted list. This iterates unless all the elements from the unsorted sublist are consumed into sorted sublist. Now we have the 33rd question. What are the advantages of selection sort? The advantages of selection sort are, selection sort is a simple and easy to implement. Selection sort can be used for small data sets. Selection sort is more efficient than bubble sort. Now we have our next question. What is an attribute? An attribute refers to a database component. It can be defined as the characteristics of entity and can be uniquely identified using the attributes. Attributes represents the instances in the row of a database. Now we have our 35th question. What is synchronization? Synchronization is the capability to control the access of multiple threads to shared resources. Synchronized keyword in Java provides locking that ensures mutual exclusive access of shared resources and prevents data race. Now we have our next question. List some application of tree data structure. The answer for this question is, the applications of tree data structure are symbol table construction, the manipulation of arithmetic expression, hierarchical data model, syntax analysis, and much more. Now we have the 37th question. Which data structure is used in BFS and DFS algorithms? The data structures used in BFS and DFS algorithms are Q data structure and stat data structure respectively. Now we have our next question. Can we overload the main method? The answer for this question is, yes, we can have any number of main methods in Java program by using method overloading. Now the 39th question. What is a search operation? The answer for this question is, whenever an element is to be searched, start searching from root node. Then if the data is less than the key value, search for the element in the left subtree. Or in simple term, we can say that searching for the element is in the right subtree. Now we have the next question. What is linear data structure? A linear data structure has data elements arranged in sequential manner, and each member element is connected to its previous and next element. Such data structures are easy to implement as computer memory is also sequential. Example, list, queue, stack, array, etc. Now the next question. Write a program to check palindromes. The answer for this question is displayed right on my screen. You can take a quick screenshot for future reference. Now we have another simple question based on code. How to split string in Java? The answer for this question is really simple. The answer is right on my screen. You can use the following code to split a string using Java programming language. Here we have given Simplilearn as a string, and you can use the split function in Java to split it. Now we have our next question. What is object cloning? The object cloning is used to create the exact copy of an object. Java.lang.clonable interface must be implemented by the class whose object clone we want to create. Now we have our 44th question. List a few advantages of DBMS. The few advantages of DBMS are: it provides multiple user interfaces, redundancy control, ensures data consistency, restriction for unauthorized access, easy accessibility, provides backup and recovery, and forces integrity constraints. Now we have 45th question. What is the purpose of default constructor in Java? The purpose of default constructor in Java is to assign the default value to the objects. Java compiler creates a default constructor implicitly if there is no constructor present in the class. Now we have our next question. What are functions in Python? A function is a block of code that is executed only when the function is called. To define a function in Python, the def keyword is used. Next we have another simple coding question. Write a program to check if the number is prime or not. The answer for this question is right on my screen. You can make a quick note of it or feel free to take a screenshot for future reference. The program is written using C programming language. Now, the next question. Explain about docstring in Python. So the answer for this question is, docstring is a string literal that occurs as the first statement in function, class, module, or method definition. It also provides a better way to associate the documentation. Now we have 49th question. Mention SQL comments. The answer for this question is, SQL comments are two types. They are single line comments, multi-line comments. And the final question for today's session is, what are the uses of super keyword? The answer for this question is, the uses of super keyword are, it is used to invoke the immediate parent class method. It is also used to refer the immediate parent class instance variable. It can also be used to invoke immediate parent class constructor. And this was all for today's session. If you have any questions, would you please let us know in the comment section below. We have our experts to answer them as soon as possible. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more from Simplilearn.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.